told them when I come back, we're going swimming. So, tell everybody thank you for them. Скажи, дякую.
Дякую.
Не, английский.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, что? Very much. Еще раз.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Future president of Ukraine right here. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It is December the 5th, 2024, 4:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1:10 in California out there in the Pacific Coast. I'll be heading out there in the morning to Nevada and California. Yes, right where the earthquake just struck, just up north of that off the coast. We'll talk about that in a moment. Lots of things are happening. We are in Snowmageddon here in Western Pennsylvania, and it's just been one of those days that have been chaotic, but it's a great day, guys, because we're fighting for Ukraine. We're standing together. We're telling the truth. We're sharing, and I am so thankful for each and every one of you. Today is a free flag. I did another one on purpose really fast. So big congratulations to our winner, Maggie Go. Unfortunately, and Maggie already knows about this. Of course she knows. She lives in Canada. And as you may or may not know, I learned when I went to ship her flag to her, the Canadian postal system is on strike. So her flag is packed up, ready to go. I believe she's in the chat. So everything is good to go. I went to ship it, and my postman looked at me and goes, "Greg, I know you ship these everywhere nonstop." He goes, "But can't mail to Canada." I said, "What?" He goes, "They're on strike. We can't do anything with Canada right now until it's lifted." So if you win the flag raffle tonight and you are from Canada, please be patient. Your flag will get to you. I promise you. And Maggie Go, I see you now in the chat saying I am here. So yeah, Maggie, it'll get there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A lot to talk about tonight. A lot to talk about in addition to giving away the free flag. And speaking of that, if you are here, the mods will be taking care of it in the chat. There is a pinned description. There's a pinned link. If you're new, you go there, you basically answer a question. What's your name and your email address? And the name is whatever you want to be publicly called on YouTube if you happen to win. And secondly, you must be present in the chat at the end of the stream to win. That way we can verify that somebody for sure is going to win the flag. So yes, it does help you stay around for the stream, which I appreciate because I'm trying to educate you. We work together, we translate, we talk about things, we chat back and forth. I have full mod team in here tonight as well. If you have some questions, I'll be checking those. Annette is manning the questions, and BB is in the chat, and Dunk will be in the chat, and everybody just having a good time on this snowy Western Pennsylvania day, guys. And I'm talking a lot of snow, but this is the flag, basically 3 feet by 5 feet, signed there on the front by Fish. Oh, I've got it backwards. Signed by Fish and his partner, who drew the picture of Taras Shevchenko. And his name is actually Ryan, who drew that. But incredible there, signed Frontline flag, no raffle ticket, no purchase, no money, nothing, just our way to say thank you. And in fact, speaking about saying thank you, today is a huge day for supporters of Ukraine. So for all of you, before we even start talking about information, and there is a lot of it, I do have to show you a couple of things on the front line. There are some big changes on the Ukrainian front line. And we will get to all of that as well. But for all of you, let me give all of you this right now.
Slava Ukraini.
Now, you may be wondering, okay, thank you for that, Greg. I appreciate that. But what is that about? You will see. Petra Olsen coming in with her Swedish Kroners 129 with love to Ukraine. Thank you, Petra. Petra is our non-smoking initiative. It's been months and months and months, hasn't it, Petra? How long it has been since you gave up smoking, put the money that you put toward cigarettes and said, I'm donating this to Ukraine. That's the story in a nutshell. So Petra, thank you for that. Lots of people in here talking about loving the hoodie. There is Keith Kane. Thank you for that, Keith. It is a special hoodie. This hoodie comes only from Ukraine. That's the wrong picture. Let me go back to this. I got a patch cam coming in just a moment, and there's a reason for I hit the wrong button. Yeah, so this is a hoodie only really you can get in Ukraine. So thank you for that. If you guys do have a question, a specific question that you would like answered tonight, I'm going to be talking about the front lines. I'm going to be talking about, unfortunately, a confirming casualty number for Ukraine. This is the number that I've been very comfortable with all of our sources inside Ukraine and all the partners we talk to, both in the military and in the government. Finally, today, it's actually coming out. And I believe this is a very accurate number and actually confirms, in a nutshell, what President Zelensky said a few days ago in regard to the number of 80,000. So nothing shocking here, but I think it's a good place for us to understand the price Ukraine is paying for this war. But we'll talk more about that. We're going to talk about Lavrov. We're going to talk about Blinken. We're going to talk about OSCE meeting. I got some video. We're going to talk about a little propaganda. We're going to talk about Kursk. Lots of things we're going to talk about. So, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do. Huge thanks to all of our moderators who make this happen. You guys are the best. And all of our channel members. If you haven't joined the Discord, the Blue Sky, all of those things, Twitter, whatever, all out there, please click it and join it. That's not my forte. My forte is doing this and getting to the front and hitting the road and sharing the information with you. With that said, tomorrow I will be traveling, so be looking for facts-only videos coming this weekend. Appreciate you guys and all of your kind comments. Those have a lot of traction. The channel is growing very, very rapidly right now. And if you're here new, thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. And for tomorrow through Tuesday, I will be in Nevada and California. So it's all good. So thank you. I will check over on the questions in just a moment. Guys, let's get going. Where do I want to start? Let's start right here. This is why I was late. That's my drive back just now. And I know a lot of you may, like Mertzy, if he's in the chat, he lives up actually right near where I was right here, was very near to Mertzy's house. And it's just bad. It won't stop snowing. And you may be from snowy territories. Johnny Nedregard, my Norwegian island dweller. Hello, community. Slava Ukraini. Thank you for that, Johnny. You're so faithful, so good, and we so appreciate you, my dear friend. You know, maybe you come from a region of the world where, oh, Greg, we get snow too. You should have already been rolling on time. All of that. Guys, I need to explain to you something about lake effect snow. And I know you're here going, okay, I'm not here to learn about lake effect snow, but let's do it anyway, okay? I just want to hang out with you a little bit. So I live in this area right here of Western Pennsylvania somewhere. And this is Lake Erie. So when you hear of lake effect snow, what happens is the lake itself is very warm. The water's warm. It's early winter. And then heavy winds blow this way across the lake. And it doesn't matter. It's not a storm. It's lake effect snow. The wind blows across. It picks up the warm water out of the lake. It makes clouds. It pushes it in to very famous snow places like Erie and Buffalo, New York, and Cleveland, Ohio, and Youngstown, and even sometimes far down as Pittsburgh and central New York and Pennsylvania. This is the lake effect snow zone. So, guys, it's not like we're having a storm. It's just non-stop snowing, and it'll keep going. So that's the lake effect snow that's happening there. Additionally, I saw it in the chat. I'm actually heading out here. Tsunami warning. There was a magnitude 7.0 earthquake right off the coast of California up there. And very shallow, actually, only down about 10 kilometers, 6 miles. It's still too early for what effect that will have. I know it rattled all the way up into Nevada. And I don't know, guys. For me, you guys know I come from a little different background. I just think the world's a big hot mess right now. Whether we talk about natural events, tsunamis, fires in different places, storms, and then we can start talking about geopolitical things. It's just the world in which we live. It's just a mess. But I'll tell you what, very thankful that we all stand here together. Dunk on You 23, another one of our moderators coming in as always. So good, so faithful. Dunk on You, thank you for that. $20 super chat. Slava Ukraini, snow here too, not as bad, but cold as all get out. Yes, it was. And gifting 10 memberships to the channel. Thank you for that. And thank you, everybody. All right, let's get to some Ukraine news. Guess what just happened about an hour ago? Guess what just happened about an hour ago? Let me pull up this map here. Vladimir Putin, by a decree, Alexander Konstantin has been appointed acting governor of the Kursk region, according to the Kremlin and Vladimir Putin. Konstantin bowed down to Vladimir Putler about his readiness to head the Kursk region, promised to make every effort to justify the president's trust. We must do everything so that all residents of the Kursk region feel that they are a part of the country. Now, you guys know that this is the place where Ukraine is doing their counteroffensive. So if I go to the web here, I can show you, and we'll be looking at a lot of maps here. Here is Sumy, and then the Kursk region, guys, is the region right here that borders Sumy. So they have a new governor change by a decree, okay? A decree of Vladimir Putin. We're changing the leadership there in the Kursk region, appointing a new governor. The bottom line is, let me explain it to you. Ukraine is smashing the Kursk region. And I know the argument there is, okay, Greg, but you keep telling us also we're having to back up. This is a big frontline update. We're losing some territory. We are. However, that is stabilized right now at about 550 to 600 square kilometers that we are holding in the Kursk region, and that is good. In fact, since we're talking about it, I'm just taking my time tonight, guys, because I have to. My brain is not clicking the same way as normal, which is probably not that good either. But we're talking about this region here. Let's go here. This is where Ukraine has made their offensive. Here's the city of Sumy. This is the Ukrainian-Russian border right there. And Ukraine, of course, has come into the Sumy, across the Sumy region into the Kursk region. So this is the region. So Ukraine holding on 550, 600 square kilometers, but they are hitting them hard with artillery, with drones, with longer range missile systems, with HIMARS. Ukraine is smashing. And yes, the loss ratio here, Professor Gertis and I did a video on this just a couple of days ago. In this region, it is accurate about 8-1. Russians losing about 8 soldiers to every 1 Ukrainian, but that is because Russia is pushing extremely hard right now on the Kursk region. They really want Ukraine out, and Ukraine wants to stay. I can confirm to you, do not listen to the propaganda. Zelensky did not give a mandate that Ukraine holds Kursk region to the last person. That's all Russian propaganda. That is not true. That was not stated. But it is vitally important, and Ukraine holding on and doing a good job to the point where Putin today changed leadership. Don't you just love it? Now, this started in June, and I want you guys to be educated. That's one of the things that I try to bring to the table from all of my work inside Ukraine, talking with commanders, soldiers, frontline people, government people, deputies. So the big story is here, and we know it and we understand it. Russia, Vladimir Putin, went to North Korea in the summer. They made this agreement, a relationship, deepened their ties. Then we saw North Korea supplying Russia with weapons, and we started to see those weapons being used inside Ukraine. And then we see the transfer of troops coming, and they are battling in Kursk. There are also North Korean troops confirmed in Lugansk Oblast. They are stated they're in Donetsk Oblast. It's specifically walking around the city of Mariupol in full uniform, doing certain tactical jobs. So are North Koreans all along the war zone? Absolutely 100%. Are more coming? If the war continues the way it is, more will be coming. We talked to our South Korean friend about 10 days ago. It's going to go up to about 100,000 North Korean troops that have been committed. So all of this happened. North Korea changed their law in regard to a military pact with Russia. Russia, Vladimir Putin, proposed to the Duma that they enter into this military pact of a joint defense agreement. For example, if Russia is attacked by a foreign nation, then North Korea is responsible to defend them. This is why when you think about Ukraine being in the Kursk region, and then you hear, and you will hear Lavrov in just a minute screaming, talking, mandating, it's the West, it's their weapons, they're attacking us. This all activates that treaty with North Korea. Then we see the false, or trying to find the right word, because it was between the martial law that was declared in Seoul, in South Korea, ranged in analysis from everything from a failed utilization of martial law to a coup d'etat, all of these descriptive things. All I can tell you is the president is a lame duck. The president is a clown in South Korea. This is directly from South Koreans whom I trust very much, who support Ukraine, who support what is right, who understand what is happening on that Korean peninsula. The guy is a lame duck. It's going out, but South Korea is a place right now where there is ongoing destabilization, once again coming back to that pact and agreement. Don't you see how it's possible? This is not a facts only. This is a conversation on this live stream. Don't you see how it's possible that Russia would just love further destabilization on the Korean peninsula? United States having about 28,000 troops in South Korea on a consistent basis. It's one of our biggest allies and strongest base positions there in Southeast Asia. So guys, it's very important. But yesterday is when the document became official. So everything that happened from June the 19th all the way until December the 4th was just gentlemen's agreement. Let's just state it that way. Handshake between Vladimir Putin, handshake with Kim Jong-un, Russia supplying technology, Russia supplying oil, 1 million barrels of oil. I did a video on that, validated that. Russia funding the North Koreans, North Korea providing troops, North Korea providing missiles and artillery, you name it. It was a gentleman's agreement. But now, as of yesterday, it is official. It came into effect from Wednesday, December the 4th, 2024, when the ratification documents were exchanged in Moscow by the country's vice foreign ministers, Kim Jong-un and Andrei Rudenko. So Andrei Rudenko is Lavrov's deputy assistant. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is keen to acquire advanced technology from Moscow and battle experience for his troops in return. Basically, as we've already discussed, Vladimir Putin has new, fresh meat grinder troops that he can send in, and he can never have to make a negative statement or any type of news that leaks through Russia that we're losing more and more and more of our soldiers in the war in Ukraine. He now has North Koreans that he can use at his expense, while Kim Jong-un, of course, doesn't care about human life at all, just like Vladimir Putin does. Kim Jong-un is going great. My guys can get some war experience, get a little thing under their belt. Might have to deal with South Korea here in the future. This is how these clowns think. Continuing on, analysts have suggested that Pyongyang, North Korean capital, Kim Jong-un could be using the war in Ukraine as a means of realigning its foreign policy. Let me read my next statements there and then it'll be clear. By sending soldiers, North Korea is positioning itself within the Russian war economy as a supplier of weapons, military support, and labor. Why the word labor is there. Guys, please hear me right now. You can make, and I can make, and the world can make jokes that the North Koreans, the 10,000, the 12,000, the potential 100,000, 50,000, their old Soviet missiles, their old Soviet artillery, you can make jokes about all that you want. That's fine, but it's killing Ukrainians right now, and it's killing civilians right now, and it's not a good thing. But when you talk about labor, this is a fact. This is a military fact. Go onto Google, go look it up, go do your own research. But I'm here to tell you right now that the North Korean engineering units are some of the best, fastest working, best quality engineering units in the world. I'm not praising them. I'm just telling you the truth. They're good at it. The Russians are terrible at it. Terrible. Additionally, if you're talking about engineering brigades, building fortifications, building defenses, building roads, moving pontoon bridges, all of those types of things that happen in engineering units, language barrier is not a problem. Why? Because the command gets the order. You go to this section, you build 13 kilometers of defensive positions and 2 pontoon bridges. North Koreans just go there and do the work. You have an entire adjustment in the war system here that is not just military with weapons. So this agreement is now active. Prior to yesterday, it was only a handshake, but it's now active. I see Mertzy in the chat. Mertzy, I was up your way, brother. Mertzy, great supporter, great friend of Ukraine here. Mertzy, there you go. I was not too far from your home right there, brother. So I know what you're feeling. I'm feeling your pain right now. Now, guys, let me tell you this. Let's go back here. If we have 400 and some watching right now, make sure that you hit the link. I know the mods in the chat will be discussing it and they'll be talking about it. And the link is pinned in the description. And I can tell you guys right now. All right, we have 62 people signed up as of right now for a flag raffle. Maybe you've hopped in here and you're not aware. We'll be raffling off free, no tickets. This is not about a fundraiser. This is about saying thank you for supporting Ukraine and supporting our work there. Fully autographed, signed Frontline battle flag from Fish, who's on the front right now. And there's his partner who drew. His partner's not Taras Shevchenko, but he drew Shevchenko. So there it is right there, guys. Beautiful, beautiful. Goes in the post to you. And thank you for that. You just need be present to attend. Make sure you just click the link, put your name and email. Nothing will be shared. And I will do it live right at the end of the stream. You must be present to win. Thank you for participating, and I hope you win. All right, let's go back here now. Eyes to the sky. I need to explain something to you guys about what happens inside Ukraine. Let me do it this way. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to get a couple of maps ready. I think that'll be a good one right there. So, eyes to the sky, at least 10 Tupolev 95 MS aircraft are ready for battle. What that means is they are loaded with their full salvo of missiles, including the 2 that were redeployed from the Olena airfield, which is up north, up to the east of Finland, to the Ingles Air Base, which is down south closer to Ukraine. As soon as the sides are loaded with missiles, they will probably return to the Olena Air Base. They've already returned to the air base in Olena. On December the 3rd, the Russian fleet received a combat order to use Caliber cruise missiles from missile carriers in the Black Sea. So right now, what we have is eyes to the sky because the Tupolev 95s, which are the take the longest to load. And then, of course, the MiGs that they use, they load those much quicker. And the Black Sea Fleet, right now, the number is a salvo of 24 missiles are loaded. And you may be there and you say, okay, dude, you are talking like there are 10 airplanes loaded with missiles at Elena Air Base, and there are 24 missiles loaded minimum on the Black Sea Fleet right now. Because we do know 100% they're loaded. And I will explain to you the process of what happens. They 100% are loaded. And this is what Russia does to bring intimidation. Where do we get that information from? Well, guys, it comes across news outlets publicly, but through Zhenya and our military contacts and the analysts that we funnel information to you. It comes in Ukrainian, I process it, Zhenya helps, our team helps, and then I get it to you in English. It comes from them. This is watched nonstop by the military. They know. It's not only watched by the Ukrainian military, guys. It's watched by NATO. It's watched by the United States. It's watched by European nations such as Germany and Poland and the Netherlands and Finland. They watch everything and they send the information to Ukraine. This needs to be made public. They're loaded because we can't take them. We can't minimize the new missile. I'm sorry. It's devastating. And if they load it, it's a problem. That's just a fact, guys. Ukraine has already stated on the Oreshnik, we will not try to shoot it out of the air until it divides into the first 6 segments. It's just the way it is. And to ignore that these planes are loaded is the mistake. Ukrainians and the world needs to know they're loaded. Yesterday, the transmission of signals by the Strategic Aviation Command at the Elena Airfield was noted. Therefore, in the evening, the threat of takeoff of planes was announced. The cycle can run for days until the true launch is started. Direct information coming right to you now. The cycle can run for days until the true launch is started. Watch now for an increase of Shahed launches to exhaust the Ukrainian air defense. Now, let me explain this to you. Just maybe it'll help a little bit. Here is the Ukrainian border. I'm on a big map. All right, this is Ukraine. Full Ukraine, the real Ukraine. All right, with Crimea. The airbase Elena is actually way up here off the map. And then Ingalls is down in this region. What happens every day when Russia is preparing for one of these strikes? Let's just go black. The planes run back and forth like this. They'll go down to Ingalls. They'll go back to Elena. They'll go back down to Ingalls. They'll go back down to Elena. And that will happen day after day after day. Intelligence from Ukraine, intelligence from the West knows when they are loading them. They watch them through the satellites, everything. So they just run these big bombers back and forth and back and forth. While that is happening, let me change the color now. Let's go orange. Every day, day and night, but more so in the night, Shaheeds. And guys, it's getting now where Ukraine is so accurate on the amount of Shaheeds that can actually run each night. For example, early in the evening, which is now 4:39 p.m. Eastern, 11:39 in Ukraine. The bulletins will be coming out, and I've already got them on my other screen over here. We are expecting 32 Shaheeds tonight. We are expecting 50 Shaheeds tonight. We are expecting 100. They know. This is what happens. And they do it day after day after day. Air defense is being depleted, and then when the window is right, weather, maybe defensive position movements for Ukraine. This is not OPSEC. This is just the way it is. When the time is right, then Russia, instead of just doing this run here back and forth, those planes turn. And when they turn, they come right down like this and pull back. They come in like this and they pull back. They come down like this, they pull back, and then the missiles fly. Most of the missiles fly this way through Chernihiv or up through Crimea, through the south, and into Ukraine. That's what happens, guys. And right now, the eyes to the sky. There's lots of information, lots of noise out there that another big strike is coming. And to ignore it is absolutely the wrong thing. The wrong thing to do. Let me say this right now. Thank you on the super chats. Mark BLUESKY, our dear friend who, big supporter of Johnny Pierce there at ATP Geopolitics. As one originally from Southern Ontario, I know lake effect snow. Brutal, Mark says, with love and thanks and appreciation from Mark and Elena. Mark and Elena, her parents are actually inside Ukraine, and Johnny Pierce and I and Zhenya, we had the honor to eat dinner with them, and it was such a wonderful experience. And although I have not met Mark and Elena personally, it feels as if I know them personally because I was in Mama's house and I actually saw their pictures up on the mantle or on the shelves there in the living room and dining room where we're eating a wonderful dinner together. So cheers to you, Mark and Elena. Blonde Bombsheller gifting 10 memberships. Thank you for that so much. BB does so much work and I deeply appreciate her. Reb Tyree gifting 10 memberships. Reb, I love that name, Reb Tyree. Dunk on you. As we said earlier, gifting the 10 memberships. Reb Tyree, $50 super chat. Greg, for whatever is needed the most, Slava Ukraini. Okay, I think, listen, Reb, okay, just that statement alone, for whatever's needed, this is what I want to say to all of you tonight. This is what I want to say to all of you tonight. Thank you. You know what I woke up to this morning? A message direct from Ukraine. And my job today is to pass this message on to you guys. My job today is to pass the following message on to you guys. And here it is. Thank you. And this is not about subscribing and comments and moderators and subscribers. This is about the two words there. Thank you for your support. I just used the same graphic. Of course, thank you for commenting and all of those things and moderators and our great team. You guys are amazing. But in that picture right there, you see me standing at the foreground, and to my right or the left there looking at the screen directly, you see WASP. WASP is a hero fighting on the front lines of Ukraine, whom we helped through our organization, our partners, all of you guys, to supply them with training dummies to train not only field medics, but every soldier in his brigade, actually, on how to be a combat medic. Even if you're just a stormtrooper, they trained them how to save lives. And that was because of you guys. We are into saving lives. And thank you. Behind me there, holding up the three fingers, is Vadim. Vadim is a hero. He is with the 54th. And Vadim's unit is one of the guys driving around saving lives with our armored Land Rover Snatch vehicles. And by the way, I was sent a message where there were people concerned. I think it was earlier on Rick's stream. I was running nonstop, unable to see it, but the message sent to me, there was some concern because news was out that a Land Rover armored vehicle, medical evacuation snatch, had been destroyed on the front lines of Ukraine. I'm sure a Land Rover was destroyed, medical evacuation vehicle, but it was not one of ours. So, of course, I'm very sorry and very sad that we've lost a medical evacuation, a snatch vehicle there on the front, but I can confirm to all of you tonight, if you were watching Rick's stream, it is not one of the 4 that we provided to the 67th, to the 141, to the 54, and to the 3rd Assault Brigade, 2nd Rifle Battalion. It was not one of our vehicles. Our vehicles are running nonstop, rolling. I believe, and this goes back to you guys. Thank you. Our drone jammers are good. Like really, really good. And of course, that doesn't mean you're in like a cone of silence on Get Smart, or, you know, it's the Superman and anything can be deflected or found out. Of course not. But we are, through your guys' generosity, able to provide these 4 groups, the 3rd Assault, the 141, the 54, and the 67th, with the latest of the greatest state-of-the-art technology modified by our own team. And I will give you guys a hint right now. Our own team partners with the intelligence services of Ukraine. That's how good our guys are. And today we say thank you, but our vehicles are there. Now, okay, let's do this. Let's do this right now. First of all, this is for you.
Slava Ukraini!
That is for you, my dear friends. I woke up to a message from Ukraine that put tears in my eyes. Now, it is my job on this live stream, and I'm going to be honest with you, between weather, travel adjustments, changes, all the things going on in the world. I was talking with my mod team. I was barely able to pull this live stream off today. It's like crazy here in Western Pennsylvania. Can I get an amen, Mertzy? It's crazy here. You go, but aren't you guys used to snow? Yeah, we are used to snow, but when these lake effect events happen, you go to bed, they say you're getting an inch, you wake up and you have 18 inches. You can't prepare for that. So I literally have shoveled and moved snow all day. So it's been a challenge, but we're here and we're making it, because I would not miss this live stream for nothing, because this, my friends, is for you. International Volunteer Day. You have a message. But before we get to that message, how about this? A little bit of patch cam there, because I want to thank Pete, Project Konstantin, all of the volunteers working there. This is actually Pete's real patch. And I'm using this one on purpose. Oh, you guys see that Heroim Slava right there? Right there. So if I hit that button, see that? And then send, you'll see it on the screen from Misty. That's what you're looking at right there, by the way. But this is Pete's patch. Why am I showing this patch today? Because today is International Volunteer Day. And it made me think about Peter when this message came from Ukraine this morning for me, and for me to share it with all of you. This is how Peter started in Ukraine as a volunteer. He founded Project Konstantin in 2022. Peter went to Ukraine because he was devastated with how children were being treated. That's what initially took Peter to Ukraine, guys, Pete Fouché. From there, of course, founded Project Konstantin, then the medical activity, the brain, the vision of the armored vehicles, and then he signed contracts with the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the ZSU, and that's the story of Pete, the legend. But he began as a volunteer. I am a volunteer. I'm a card-carrying Ukrainian military volunteer. And today I woke up to this, and this is what I was asked to share with you. So I think I've built it up enough now. Let me read it to you. Dear, and this is just translated, guys. I didn't fix it. English-wise. I just translated. Dear and dear ones, I congratulate you all on the holiday of the volunteer. Thanks to the people like you, many lives were saved. There was something to eat on the table for families in difficult situations. It was warmer for the guys in the trenches. There was communication in critical situations where the batteries on the radios issued by the state had already died. There was the opportunity to see at night when the eyes were no longer capable of it. Now, guys, this is a message directly to us, our work, Zhenya, myself, and all of you. You see, this is what we have done and will continue to do until victory. I will be leaving again for Ukraine right after Christmas, running the front lines, and you will be there with us as we drop aid and do these things. We saved lives. We brought food for you. We were your hands and your feet and your eyes to people that didn't have any food, guys. It was warmer for the guys in the trenches. We brought them warm clothing, thermal blankets, trench candles, heaters, fuel, you name it. There was communication in critical situations when the batteries on the radios issued by the state had already died. Yes, remember, and we still do it. We are nonstop producing our modified batteries that last for days. And they also have a charging port on them. So a soldier can actually have a small power bank with him, plus his battery. With that battery, he can charge a flashlight. He can run his mobile communications. And we modified it with a USB-C port. And with just a small power bank, he can keep that key battery charged. An entire system designed by our guys, the same drone guys, our electrical guys. They're brilliant Ukrainians. The guys are saying thank you. There was opportunity to see at night when the eyes were no longer capable of it. Yes, we've delivered night vision, thermal vision optics to guys. We, and that we means all of you. Thank you. It continues. Bleeding was stopped when there were not enough of their own tourniquets, and they took yours. I've told you the story so many times. All the Cat 7s that we give out, and we will continue to give out, genuine Cat 7s, but literally, we've taken Chinese tourniquets off of soldiers, pulled off our own individual Cat 7s. Of course, yes, we're not stupid. We always have our own med kit. We always have at least one. But Jane and I always are traveling fully stocked with 3. You need 3. But when we get in critical situations, we'll take 2 of those extra ones. We'll take off the Chinese tourniquets from those Ukrainian heroes on the front line, throw them on the ground and step on them, and then give them back and say, go practice with these, but here's your Cat 7. Thank you, guys. We've done that because of you. The wounded were evacuated. When the Army vehicles were no longer capable of doing this, this is direct reference to the armored vehicles. There was medicine when the state ones had already run out. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of medicines we have delivered thanks to you guys. Hope appeared because you were there. Children received holidays. You know, every January we do those big Christmas things. I don't know if we'll be able to do one this year, but we go right down to the front lines. We do it under complete secrecy, and we find all the children we can do. We do a little program and give them Christmas gifts because of you guys and your generosity. Adults and children were able to spend a night in warmth when there was no longer a house. We've, and I say we, it's all of us. Take people right out of their blown up house and get them to somewhere warm. I'm honored to know you and have such people nearby. So guys, that message is not only for Jing and myself, but that message is for you. And that's what I want to say today, more important than anything. Thank you. Thank you. Let's continue. Lavrov, Subiga, Blinken, the OSCE. Guys, if you're wondering what OSCE stands for, it's the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. So I have a question for you. Why is Sergei Lavrov even there? Can somebody answer that for me? Why is Sergei Lavrov even there and given the opportunity to speak? Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov attends the OSCE meeting. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is there. Russia criticized at the meeting over Ukraine war. Together with Subiga, that is the foreign minister of Ukraine. His picture's on the bottom left, Blinken in the middle, Lavrov at the top there. The ministers of the foreign affairs of Poland and the Czech Republic also left the hall when Lavrov was speaking. Incidentally, this is Lavrov's first visit to the EU since the beginning of February 24th, 2022. Just think about that for a moment. Since the full war began, this was Lavrov's first visit to the European Union. Is there something else going on? Is there another message? I don't know. I'm not going to chase a conspiracy theory at all. I'm just very disappointed that he was there. And I'm also disappointed that only Subiga, the foreign affairs delegation of Poland and the Czech Republic, left the hall when he spoke. I'm disappointed that Antony Blinken didn't leave the hall. I'm disappointed that every other breathing human being in that hall, no matter what nation they were representing or from, did not walk out when Sergei Lavrov was given the microphone. That is what should have happened. In fact, here's Subiga leaving. Lavrov getting ready to speak. There's Subiga, the first one in the white hair, walking out. The Ukrainians leave. And Poland leaves. Czech Republic leaves. But guys, that's it. Look how many more people are just sitting there. All those nations represented. What a moment of solidarity if everybody would have walked out. I'm sorry, but everybody should have walked out. Everybody. And then when they give him opportunity to speak, the evil that comes out of Sergei Lavrov's mouth. This is Blinken speaking afterwards. He said, "I regret that our colleague, Mr. Lavrov, has left the room." Okay, so here's the big deal. When Lavrov spoke, and I'm not bashing Antony Blinken, guys. I'm just making a statement that all nations should have walked out. But they didn't, and they listened to him. But when Blinken spoke, Lavrov left. Just process that for a moment. Unacceptable. Blinken says, "I regret that our colleague, Mr. Lavrov, has left the room, not giving the courtesy to listen to us as we listen to him." And of course, our Russian colleague is very adept at drowning listeners in a tsunami of misinformation, Blinken said in his speech to the meeting. Lavrov and Blinken, whose term in office ends next month, were not scheduled to meet. You may say, okay, so what was the tsunami of misinformation that Lavrov was stating? So you have the big picture, guys. I'll show it to you again. This is the big picture here of all these people in this OSCE meeting. There goes Subiga. Just look at the tables. Look how many people are there. Okay, so you have the picture. What did Lavrov say? Here's what Lavrov says. Translated for you.
We don't want to attack anyone. The U.S. is using Ukraine to wage war on us. They're arming Ukrainian neo-Nazis, helping them shell our land with long-range weapons. This isn't our choice. Putin said we had no option but to start this special operation. They've been planning this for a long time, turning Ukraine into a launch pad for threats against Russia.
See, do you see what's happening here, guys? It is now moving from the Ukrainian narrative to the United States and the Western narrative. And here's what's interesting. And I got a couple comments I'm going to use here. Mertzy saying the high road didn't play well there. No, the high road was the mistake there. This is a war, Mertzy. As you well know, my dear friend, volunteer going to Ukraine. Kudos to you. And congratulations to you on International Volunteer as you have supported Ukraine inside Ukraine. I was honored for you to be there with me. But I'm telling you right now, guys, the high road here was not the best way. Cheryl Waitley coming in. What is Zelensky going to do now that Lex Friedman will also interview Putin in Moscow? Yeah. No different than Tucker Carlson talking to Lavrov. I mean, seriously, you cannot give these guys a platform. You cannot give Lavrov a platform. You cannot give Vladimir Putin a platform. We want to be fair. Okay, let me ask you something. Why do you want to be fair when this is the attacking nation that is trying to wipe Ukraine off the map? Right now, Ukrainians are sitting in darkness and cold with rotating power outages throughout the entire nation. Right now, frontline soldiers are defending their lines under intense attacks from drones and artillery. Right now, we are awaiting another mass missile attack. It is not fear, it is reality. But we're going to let Lavrov speak at the OSCE in the EU and bash the United States and bash the West that they are striking us. They are waging war against us. And then Friedman, well, I'm going to go talk to Zelensky, but then, I want to go talk to Putin. I speak Russian fluently. Well, so do I. That doesn't mean I need to go speak to Vladimir Putin. Do not give them a voice. They are evil. I mean, it's like, okay, it's World War II, guys. Hitler trying to wipe the Jewish nation off the globe, wiping out Europe. Well, let's go get his opinion. No, his opinion is irrelevant. His actions are speaking. Everybody, you with me there? The opinion's irrelevant. Who cares what you say? Your actions speak louder than your words. You are trying to wipe a nation off the planet. Therefore, you have no voice. You must be defeated. Surrender, quit, take your tanks and go home. But I'm not going to come to hear your opinion. It's ignorant. Absolutely ignorant. Absolutely ignorant. Anyway, so here's what's interesting. So you have Lavrov talking about the West. All right, I'm going to play. And guys, if you haven't registered for the flag yet, we're getting close to the end of the update, the live stream tonight. Been going for an hour now. And I do have some more important information on the front lines I'm going to share with you that you need to know. I'm going to give you the facts on this. But here it is. If you haven't signed up yet, mods, the link's in the chat pinned. Mods are there. Here it is, guys. Autographed on the front. Just sign up with your name, your email address. Will not be shared. Must be present to win. I'll spin the wheel in just a few minutes. So I want to play Lavrov one last time. Just listen to him, because then I'm going to jump. I'll come back, and then I want to jump to Solovyov's show. And I don't show too much of Solovyov, but you need to understand when Solovyov or Margarita Simonyan are speaking, and yes, it's radical, it's wildness, it's evil, it's propaganda, it's lies. But inside of that, you can find the Kremlin narrative. Solovyov and Simonyan aren't doing anything that the Kremlin is not aware of. Dmitry Peskov, of course, being the official spokesperson, Zarubin being Vladimir Putin's personal reporter, Lavrov, the foreign minister, all of these people working together. Then, of course, you have Medvedev, the former president and prime minister, off running his mouth in madness land, vodka boy. But all of these people, in all of them, you find the true message. I mean, it's still a lie, but you find the true message of what Russia intends to do. So back to Lavrov. Listen one more time.
We don't want to attack anyone.
We don't want to attack
anyone. The U.S.
anyone.
is using Ukraine to wage war on us. They're arming Ukrainian neo-Nazis, helping them shell our land with long-range weapons. This isn't our choice. Putin said we had no option but to start this special operation. They've been planning this for a long time, turning Ukraine into a launch pad for threats against Russia.
All right, you've got it. Ukraine's just stuck in the middle, the neo-Nazi regime that are coming to attack us. It's the U.S. and the West. All right? Now, if anybody out there thinks that if we move forward with negotiations, freeze the front line, put a demilitarized zone in, that this is over, then I have oceanfront property to sell you in Denver, Colorado. Russia must be defeated. Putin must be defeated. The Kremlin must be defeated. It must fall from within, and the military must be defeated from the outside. That's how you defeat Russia. So Ukraine is fighting. We help them. We support them. We stand with them. We win the war militarily. And then, with that happening, Russia must implode from the inside. That is the way full defeat comes. Anything else is a Band-Aid, and in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, a greater unleashing of hell will come, not only against Ukraine, but against Europe and the rest of the world. So here is this cat speaking on Solovyov's show.
Trump's now dropping hints that sanctions on Russia might be lifted if they agree to talks or this or that. But in reality, we're playing the long game, not just in the information space, but in the conflict itself. Ukraine's a near-term goal, but our main aim is to overcome Western hegemony, the dollar, and all that. If we can beat them, we will. As for Ukraine, we can't just leave it as a de-escalation zone. It's shown we can't leave anything. Same with the West. We can't stop now.
Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. One more time.
Don't want to attack.
Not him.
Gain momentum. If we're building a new world order, this BRICS thing.
Ho. You know what? Just listen one more time. Listen one more time.
Trump's now dropping hints that sanctions on Russia might be lifted if they agree to talks or this or that. But in reality, we're playing the long game, not just in the information space, but in the conflict itself. Ukraine's a near-term goal, but our main aim is to overcome Western hegemony, the dollar, and all that. If we can beat them, we will. As for Ukraine, we can't just leave it as a de-escalation zone. It's shown we can't leave anything. Same with the West. We can't stop now that we've gained momentum. If we're building a new world order, this BRICS thing, we must keep moving forward.
All right, so there you have it, guys. I want to lay that out for you, and then I've got some questions I'm going to look at that Annette has put into my Discord that you guys have asked during the stream, and then we're going to give away the flag and look at the 2 places on the front line I want to show you. Okay. This guy, on the same time that Lavrov is saying, you have to put all this together to understand. Lavrov saying it's the West. It's the United States fighting through Ukraine, now hitting us with weapons, using the Kyiv regime and raising up the neo-Nazis to smash us. So we have to defend not only Ukraine, but we are fighting against the West. We got it. That's Lavrov, who should have never been at the OSCE. We've already covered that. Everybody should have walked out. Okay, close the book on that. Now you have this clown on Solovyov's show, and that was Solovyov standing there at the end. But listen to the message, because that message right there is so full of information that is true. You say, hold on now, don't say anything true on Solovyov's show. It was true. 100% true. And what are we talking about? We're not only fighting Ukraine, we're fighting the West. That is true. We're looking for a new world order. That is true. Putin has said it directly out of his own mouth. We want a new world order. The West must go away. The dollar must die. BRICS must rise. The currency must change. Everything in the world order must change. There must be a developed partnership militarily, politically, and economically between Russia and China. And through that, we will establish a new world order. That quote has happened dozens of times. Xi Jinping warming up to that idea time over time over time over time. We're watching it happening. We're seeing the destabilization between North and South Korea. We're seeing India caught in the middle. We're seeing Turkey that is so Turkey like goes everywhere. Okay, well, we're in NATO. Oh, no, well, we're against the United States down here in Syria. We're against the United States down there in Israel. Okay, Hamas and Hezbollah. Okay, guys, this is what is happening. He then says, forget it. Just listen again. This is, I'm telling you, I'll give the commentary over the top. Here we go.
Trump's now dropping hints that sanctions on Russia might be lifted if they agree to talks or
Fact. Kellogg plan. Sanctions will be lifted. Putin will be not demonized anymore, and we will rebuild relations with Russia. That's a fact. That's not the plan that's going to happen, but it's what's on the table. Keep listening. He said it.
or this or that. But in reality, we're playing the long game, not just in the information space, but in the conflict itself. Ukraine's a near-term goal, but our main aim is to overcome Western hegemony.
Okay, we've heard this so many times for the last 2 or 3 years. Ukraine is just a stepping stone. They're going for Poland next. They're going for Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia next. And people want to take that information and go, no. That's such fear-mongering. It's just a regional conflict. No, guys, the guy's telling you the truth right here on the same day Lavrov is going, it's the West doing this against us. And the world wants to run around and try to make a peace treaty with these clowns? You can't. You have to defeat them. They must be defeated on the battlefield and then implode from the inside Moscow and the Kremlin. That's what has to happen. And I know some people are smart enough to figure this out. I hope. Keep going.
The dollar and all that. If
The
we
dollar.
can beat them, we will. As for Ukraine, we can't just leave it as a de-escalation zone. It's shown we can't leave anything.
Okay, guys, did you hear him? Now, as for Ukraine, we've shown that we can't leave it as a de-escalation zone. We've already proven that. What is he talking about? Syria. That's exactly what he's talking about. You need to listen to it in the Russian. Listen to it in the context of the Russian. I'm giving you the English there. They're talking about Syria. We put Syria on cruise control, and now we're getting smashed down there. We're losing our equipment. We're losing our soldiers. We're losing our weapons. We're losing our tanks. Everything is chaos in Syria. Russia has 120 installations in Syria, 86 of which are military encampments or small bases scattered throughout Syria. What triggered some of this was when Israel struck 3 Russian encampments on the Syrian-Lebanese border a couple of weeks ago before the ceasefire came in. It's just a fact. And then we see this entire thing happen. Do I think it's all connected? 1,000,000% without a question. Then Russia blaming that Ukrainian commanders are in Syria. This is what the guy's talking about. We're losing Syria. So we can't just de-escalate in Ukraine because we'll lose Ukraine too. The dude is telling the truth.
Same with the West. We can't stop now that we've gained momentum. If we're building a new world order, this BRICS thing, we must keep moving forward.
We can't stop now that we've gained momentum. 100% true. How? In Ukraine, they are gaining momentum on the battlefield. They're taking more territory now to the level of what they were taking in 2022. And I'm going to show you 2 key places in just a moment as we close the stream. We will be watching. Secondly, we're gaining momentum. How are we gaining momentum? Let's analyze for just a moment. If you haven't signed up for the flag, mods, if you don't mind, hit it in the chat hard because we're getting close to the end, guys. How have we gained momentum? I think Sergei Lavrov was in Malta at the OSCE meeting speaking and ripping the United States and the West in front of nations and leaders, one of which was the United States, Antony Blinken, who said, well, we sit to listen to you, but you didn't sit to listen to us. Is that momentum? Absolutely, it's momentum. Why? Because 2 years ago, it couldn't happen. A year ago, it couldn't happen. 6 months ago, it couldn't happen. Oh, we're hearing about a relieving of the sanctions if we can come to this agreement. We're hearing that Putin will no longer be demonized. What is that called? Momentum. And it needs to be stopped immediately. You can't dance with the devil. And Vladimir Putin and his cronies are the devil and his minions. If you think you can out negotiate them, they're all in, guys. Vladimir Putin, Putler, Volva is all in. Kim Jong-un is all in. They're not worried about an election. They're not worried about the next political process. They are all in. The Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran, all in. Well, he's old and he'll die. And then the next one comes in. They're all in. It is an evil, repressive, oppressive regime there in Iran. Xi Jinping, all in, guys. Is the West all in? That's the $1 million question. And that is why they can look at it and say, hey, we're gaining some momentum. Interesting. Here's Lavrov meeting there with Hungary. I know, Hungary and Orban, already an ally of Russia. Oh, smiles around. Yeah, today, guys. How about Lavrov smiling and joking with Slovakia? Delegation. What is it called? Momentum, unfortunately. And I'm going to share this one with you guys in just a minute. All right, let's do this. What about India? Adam Rounds, great question. I stick with my understanding of India that it's like this. Regardless of where they line up, they are the most populated nation on the planet, and they're going to spend a lot of money governmentally. And I know, well, a lot of India is poor, Greg. I understand that. But governmentally, fuel, infrastructure, and not all Indians are poor. They're going to spend a lot of money to nations. Right now, they are dumping a lot of money into the Russian war machine. All right, guys, here we go. We have 147 responses for the Battle Flag giveaway. I'm going to give like a 5-minute call, 10-minute call now. I want to look at one more thing here, and I want to look at the front lines in 2 places. It won't take but a minute, so make sure if you haven't signed up and you're new, keep an eye on the chat. Marino, do you know what's currently happening in France if it can turn out to be good for the collective West, Europe, and Ukraine? No, I do not know how to answer that, but for sure we need to keep our eyes on that and all learn together. But I'm not going to blow smoke on something I don't know about, and I don't know about that. Michael Taylor, hello, Greg. Hello, Michael. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. No, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm just hanging, and this is great. This is a big deal today, guys. This you may not have seen because this is not hitting Western media yet. This is not hitting, or it may be now. About 2 hours ago is when this hit Ukrainian media. Can y'all read that right there? The headline says, the General of the United States telling the Ukrainian military that they need to get younger and lower the mobilization age. This will continue to grow as a bigger topic as we go forward. And right now, if I was to gamble on this, and I would never, just erase that. If you were to bet on it, I guess that's the same thing as gamble on it. But if I was to guess, that's a much kinder way to say it, I guess. There's going to be intense pressure for Ukraine to lower the mobilization age. It may not end up being 18. It may be 21, 23, 20, 19. I don't know. But they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to do it. Now, this message right here is coming from one of the greatest Ukrainian voices and supporters who's been spot on, General Ben Hodges. The conscription age in Ukraine from 25 years is too high. It should be lowered to 18 to 19. General, former commander of the U.S. Army in Europe, Ben Hodges. Now, why is this a big deal for Ukraine? Because Ukraine loves Ben Hodges. Ben Hodges, yes, he's been saying it, Chris, but it's just coming public now inside Ukraine. Let me say it that way. This is the first time it's been released inside Ukraine. Now, Ukrainian analysts, military analysts that I follow, disseminate a lot of information and pass it on to you guys, are saying we need to pay attention to this. 1 week ago, these same analysts were saying, get out of here, world. 25's low enough. 25's low enough. 25's low enough. We need a future. We need a future. The same military analysts today are changing their song. They're changing their tune. They're going, we need to relook at this. We trust Ben Hodges. Ben Hodges has been for us. Ben Hodges has been in our corner. Ben Hodges has fought for us when nobody fought for us. Ben Hodges stood up. He's experienced. He's for us. We need to listen. So I'm just putting it out there. This has been in the talks. We continue to hear mobilization, conscription information, but now this is the information coming around inside Ukraine today. And if you look to the right there, you probably can't read it unless you can read Ukrainian, but it says in the gray above the red flag, the 5th of December, 2024, 5:20 in the evening Kyiv time. This is just coming out public for Ukrainian digestion. I guess that's the best way to say it. You know, it's floating around. I saw some of you guys here talking. It's been on, Blue Sky or Twitter or other places where we've heard this, but this is now being digested by Ukrainians in the Ukrainian language. And they respect Ben Hodges. So we shall see. A couple of days ago, Professor Gertis and I did an analysis on understanding the numbers in the Ukraine war and how many have they actually lost. President Zelensky saying a few days ago that 80,000 killed was too high. It's less than that. And I agree, of course, with President Zelensky, but it's not much lower than that. Today, Ukraine coming out with the official information, 105,000 dead and missing Ukrainian soldiers. This is the data that was officially delivered to the general staff and to Zelensky today. Multiple Ukrainian sources are confirming this. And this actually coincides with what President Volodymyr Zelensky said. He said a few days ago, we have not lost 80,000 dead. It's less. So the number here is 70,000 killed, 35,000 missing. With all the people I talk to in Ukraine, and Jania, it's nonstop, guys, with commanders 24/7. My phone today has blown up with soldiers messaging me, and not, commander level soldiers messaging me. I talk to them nonstop. This is accurate. This is accurate. For the people out there saying, oh, Ukraine's only lost 35,000. It's not true. It's not true. The price has been very high. And this being officially delivered to the general staff and to Zelensky, 70,000 dead and 35,000 missing. You may ask then, okay, how many wounded, Greg? At least 400,000. 400,000. I've shown you guys lots of pictures of soldiers who have lost their limbs. In fact, when we were doing, I'll go back, when I was saying thanks to you guys, there is a hero right there. That's our administrator for our nonprofit there, Antonina on the left, Tonya, not Tanya, Tonya in Ukrainian, and our dear brother there who lost his leg, that we provided a jacket for there, a sweater for the soldiers there in the hospital where it's cold. You can see her in a full jacket. We deal with a lot of wounded soldiers, guys, a lot of wounded soldiers. So real numbers here, 500,000 between killed, missing, and wounded. And that's what you really need to pay attention to is that missing number. We never focus on that. But there are a lot of Ukrainian soldiers that are missing. Of course, some of them have been taken captive and others have been killed. So a lot less than Russia, but still very significant, and we pay tribute to those soldiers that have given their lives, as always. Thank you, guys. I want to look at two things. I want to get to some questions here. I'm coming over now, Annette, into the questions. Let's go here. I got everything. Also, Nadia Kolakowski, member for 2 months, $2 super chat. Love your work. Thank you, Nadia, so much for that. I think I've caught up on all of that. Thank you, Annette. Any questions here? I don't want to miss any. Joe Shoemaker coming in with a question. Let me go full screen on this. Guys, last couple of minutes, and we're going to spin the wheel for the flag. Joe Shoemaker asking, Greg, do you know anything about traveling colonels helping to supply IFACs in Ukraine and Indy Star today? Pray for you, Zhenya Daly. Love your work from Little Franklin, Indiana. Joe Shoemaker, I do not know specifically about traveling colonies, but I can tell you a lot of IFACs are given out. We do it through our organization. Other organizations do it as well, the real deals. And I do need to give a big kudos here to, there is a medical doctor in Kyiv, and her name's Galina, and her husband, Anton. She basically has sacrificed her entire life, as well as Anton, to providing and building IFACs. They do a lot of partnership with Rick the Ukrainian. We've partnered with them. We have supplied them with thousands of dollars of medical supplies for IFACs. Zhenya and I have delivered to them many times, and they do a good job. So that is happening. Paul Gallagher, there's the question, is Russia losing faster than Ukraine is running out of resources? I know the balance is unclear. Russia is destroying their economy and using all its Soviet weapons. I'm just going to stand by my understanding of that being on the front line. No. Ukraine, if you look on the natural resources side, a lot of the territory that Russia, and I'm going to answer this two ways, a lot of the territory that Russia has taken, very rich in natural resources. And then some of the land that Ukraine still holds, none of the factories are working because it's too dangerous, especially in the Donetsk region. I'll show you that on a map in just a second. Very, very wealthy. If you go to the military side, no, Russia's war machine and war economy is working 24/7, and Russia is pumping out more weapons right now than the entire European Union combined. And that's a fact. In addition to that, you look at the partnerships strategically with Iran supplying, North Korea supplying, China, no question, supplying at the minimum technology resources. A lot of talk out there now that even some light scale weapons coming from China, but I have no proof of that, but it's out there. No. Ukraine being supplied, but we've watched it. The West supplying, and supplies are interrupted, disrupted, don't come, promises unfulfilled, then they're fulfilled. And this is a lot of the reason why Zelensky himself said, we will not lower the mobilization age, because if I lower the mobilization age to 21, I'm going to send out these young guys and not even have a bullet for them. There is a great argument in that. Great argument in that. But if you lower the mobilization age, does that then push the West to say, okay, Ukraine, you're serious. Let's beat Russia. We're going to just, as Mark Rutte said, pump weapons into Ukraine. I don't know the answer to that. It's just conjecture. But for sure, these things are all connected. But no, Russia not running out of anything. Bad Boys Club podcast. Greg Terry, talk about the French government falling apart. I would love to, Bad Boys, but I'm not knowledgeable enough, and I always want to try to be fair and accurate. I don't get everything right, but a lot of experience in Ukraine and Russia. I started working in Russia 30 years ago, 1994, March 1994. Speak the language, and more of my expertise there in Europe, Middle East, do a lot of work in Israel, a lot of work in Pakistan, Southeast Asia, Africa, all over Africa. France, I'm pretty naive on, but we will be watching it. From Heather Wiley. So, Greg, there are still Russian forces in the Black Sea. Yes, their Navy is there. They rotate them around a lot and they'll make adjustments. But yes, there is naval presence in the Black Sea, 100%. If you've noticed, just in general analysis, you've heard less about Ukraine attacking Crimea, right? Occasionally, we had the big attack about 10 days ago, but in general, early in the war, it was daily. Oh, the sea drones, Ukraine's developing these sea drones that they did and are and continue to do. And they're doing the night strikes and the operations and all of that. But the war, guys, is not the same war as it was 18 months ago. Every resource Ukraine has at its disposal right now is trying to defend the front line. And I'll look at it in the map to close. It's critical right now. So every resource possible. Indy Dark Star comment, thank you for all you and your team do to help Greg. You're very welcome. Callie's at a comment here. Greg Terry, still too many nations still thinking when they can make money with Russia again. Politicians are the same all over the world. Yes, they are. Cheryl, I answered your question about Lex Friedman. We'll see what happens there. Elate, I am with you on this subject, but then why do you support Israel, who is basically doing the same thing? That I don't understand. Feels like a double standard. Well, it's not a double standard. I remind you that if you speak specifically, and I will not go into this right now, we can do a whole program on it. I do support Israel. I hate people being wiped off of a planet, but Israel was invaded with a terrorist attack, and they have the right to defend themselves. And the sentiment of anti-Semitism has spread throughout the world at an alarming rate. It's just the way it is. Israel is our key ally in the Middle East. I am a United States citizen. I just work in Ukraine. But that's a deep topic, and I respect you, and I do understand it. Believe me, I understand it. I have friends in Beirut. I have friends in the West Bank that are Arabs. I have friends in Gaza. I understand it, but that is not a 30-second conversation. I hope that helps understand because we care about people. Peter Benson, great content. I tune in for everyone. Peter Benson, thank you for that. Here you go.
Slava Ukraini!
There you go, Peter. Thank you. Last couple of questions. We're going to spin the wheel, guys. Andrea Shove, what's the possibility of getting Milwaukee or other companies to donate heated jackets for the heroes? Annette, Greg. So, Andrea, to be quite honest with you, I have a heated jacket. Okay? I have a nice heated jacket that I wear in Ukraine. I wore it for about 2 days, and then I stopped wearing it. Because when you're on the front, and when I say the front now, I'm speaking not only the 0, but once you move into the 10-kilometer range from the front. In fact, let me do this. Everybody get ready. We are now up to 166 responses for the flag. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. When you are, and it's a great question, why couldn't we just give them heated jackets and all that? Because they don't work. I mean, they work, but it doesn't work in a war. So once you get within 10 kilometers of this front, anywhere there. So you see my red line dropping, and all of these within 10 kilometers, everywhere my red line is, Zhenya and I have been everywhere on that front, all of it. Including Kursk, including Sumy, Chernihiv, all the way down to Kherson, of course. Why? An interesting question, but it's valid. Why wouldn't you wear a heated jacket? Because you're too active. Soldiers never wear heated jackets like that or batteries. Electronic warfare. You don't want anything on you electronic. Even as ignorant as it sounds, well, there's wires in there and all that. Really, you just don't want anything on there. Secondly, you don't want extra heat signature due to thermal. Thirdly, you're too active. And the worst thing you can do is sweat when it's really cold, unless you're living in warm conditions. You probably know that if you live in any cold conditions, because then it's really bad. And so once you're in that 10-kilometer zone, and why the 10-kilometer zone of the 0 line, it's because that's the the very accurate range of FPV drones, and it's extremely dangerous anywhere within 10 kilometers. And then you move to another level of danger, which is 30 to 40 kilometers, which is the majority of MLRS systems, that there will never be an air alarm. There will never be a warning. You will just be dead or wounded or watching it blow up something beside you. Zhenya and I have been down. Guys, you get me going on these questions, and I enjoy it very much. But I can tell you, this is, and I want to talk about this area anyway, so let's do it. Zhenya and I do a lot of work. This is Zaporizhia. This is Dnipro. We do a lot of work right there. And that's not UPSEC. I'm in the United States right now. You'll never know when we're there or when we're not there. And Zhenya is not there. But a lot of work in Kharkiv. And I can tell you that this is how crazy it is when you go to places like this. Here's like the town of Kharkiv, and then the front line here. If Zhenya's watching, he'll remember this. We were riding around helping guys inside of Kharkiv. We were on that road right there. Right there. And we dropped aid, did some tourniquets giveaways. We were working, and then we came down this road like that. And you see where we're going. Did our deal. And then we rotated out of Kharkiv. We came back around, and we went up this way. And this right here is a very high hill. Very high, overlooking Kharkiv, and then Robotny. And right on this road, it was probably 10 minutes after we were right here. MLRS came in and smoked that entire road. And it's because we were there. We were in military vehicles, fully armored, the whole 9 yards, riding around with escorts, dropping aid. And we went in, you drop the aid, you jump out of the vehicle, you have buildings between you and the front lines so that there's some protection. You run, you drop aid, you handshake, you hug. They may have a cup of coffee saying, okay, we got 3 minutes, let's sip a cup of coffee. You run, jump back in the vehicle, then you roll back down to the next unit, and that's what you do. Maybe there's some civilians that are, by goodness, still left there. You check with them. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Are you got food, et cetera, et cetera. You're running and gunning. And you have to keep moving. And in this particular situation, when we got back to the hill, we turned around and it was just on fire. And people go, well, wasn't that your fault? No, we were riding with military. They were doing their normal route. We were just dropping aid. That's what happens. That whole road, they smoked it. And the fires and the smoke. So big answer there for heated jackets. No heated jackets. Matt up Max, last couple of questions here. What about negative reportings about TCC recruiters? That is not good PR for Ukraine, but gets widely used in pro-Russian propaganda. Public opinion is part of the foundation too. Great question there. I can tell you right now in regard to TCC, in regard to mobilization, I have personally witnessed, guys, I'm going to always tell you the truth. I've personally witnessed things that shouldn't have happened. Period. I've witnessed a guy get grabbed and thrown in the van. But I need you to please hear me. There's always more to the story. And you're right. Not only Russian propaganda, but Western propaganda, American media. They will take these stories and run with it and try to paint a very bad picture of mobilization in Ukraine. 99% of mobilization in Ukraine has been handled properly. In my opinion, Zhenya's opinion, in our opinion. In fact, all of our guys and our team members actually want stronger mobilization. All the analysts we follow want stronger. It doesn't mean you run out with weapons in war, but they want it to be stronger. Lower the age a little bit. I'm definitely a proponent of 21, getting it down. We need that age. Not 18, 19, 20 in Ukraine. But we need more soldiers. But there have been bad situations. The worst city for mobilization, where the worst TCC was located, was Odessa. They have been smashed. They have been corrected. They have been changed. Some of them have been taken out of the military. Some of them have been prosecuted. There was a couple of bad examples that happened in Lviv. I've seen a bad example in Khmelnytsky. You've heard stories about Kharkiv. Well, they were grabbing this guy and then they shot this guy and all that, but you never see the whole story. Most of the time this happens is because the people that are having the conversation or being served the papers or asking to see their documents, they start fighting. They start pushing the military guy. I'm just telling you guys, this is what happens. It's a much deeper story, but it is improving. It is getting better. And yes, Russian propaganda will always try to destroy it. Annette, too late? No, Mitch. Russia having a failed harvest this year, going to be a lot of effect. Greg, I don't think so. Russia, of course, on their harvest that fails, they'll just import. They'll import. I mean, you know, for failed harvest, is it going to affect? Of course it is. And yes, we're already seeing the value of goods go up inside Russia. We're seeing inflation kick in. We're seeing lending rates change. We're seeing all of that. But guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. The same thing is happening in Ukraine. The price of fuel going up. The price for automobile and diesel going up. The price of eggs, just like here in the U.S., going crazy high. The price of bread going up. The taxation rate for Ukrainians going up. Everything, of course, is getting more expensive. So I think instead of just focusing on one nation, we have to actually look at it all, and not only including Russia and Ukraine, but then we have to start looking outside of that into the nations that support Ukraine in Europe, here in the United States. So big thing there. But will they be with no food? No. Will they be paying more for it? Yes. Can they get it? Yes. All right, guys, we're going to spin the flag. 179 of you. I'm giving the 60-second call now. If you haven't signed up, this is your chance to win a real autograph signed battle flag directly from the front. Autographed by Fish and his partner there on the front. Getting ready to spin the wheel, so you will be present to attend as we spin it. Then you'll need to say in the chat, I'm here. I then have your email, and I will email you immediately when I hit the stop button on the stream. And from that, you provide me your preferred name and mailing address, and I'll put it into the mail to you. A reminder, if you are Canadian and you are watching, just like our last Winter Sunday Maggie Go, she's having to wait. The Canadian Post is on strike, and the American Post will not allow me to send it to Canada yet. But my buddies here at the post office are waiting on it, and I see more signing up. The last things I promised you for today was the Frontline. 2 places I want to look at specifically. I've already talked to you about Kursk, and that was early in the stream. I'm going to look at Ukraine here. In fact, I want to pull up a different map that's a little bit easier for you guys to see on a stream. I'm not going to use Deep State here. I want to use this one. All right, so we've talked about Kursk already. And I'll change that to black. So we've talked about this region right here. I've talked to you tonight about how to evaluate with the Tupolev 95s, and we are expecting a missile strike, a large one again, imminently. That's the fairest way to say it. Yes, there are ships in the Black Sea, 100%. Yes, the Tupolovs are running this nonstop. And yes, Shaheeds are rolling nonstop. In fact, you can see right now, Chernihiv, Zhytomyr, Kyiv, Sumy, and Poltava. So what is happening here is Shaheeds are coming in from Russia. They can go through Belarusian airspace, of course. And this is what's happening right now. All right, let's go back. So that's what's happening in general. If I go here, this is where Kupiansk is. I need to change that to black. Kupiansk is here. Ukraine holding good there. We come down to Chasiv Yar area, and I'm not zooming in on purpose. I just want you to see the big picture. Chasiv Yar in this area, very difficult. Toretsk in this area, very difficult. But that's not the two stories I want to focus on right now. The first one is Karakova. We are going to lose Karakova. Unless the war ends right this second, we're going to lose Karakova. Karakova city proper outlined right here. We do have absolute Russian control here. We have Russian control here. 100%. We have Russian control here. Russia is pressing, coming in toward the dam here. This is the dam they blew that initiated this hard assault on Karakova. Why? Because Ukrainian forces that were giving logistic support to Karakova had to pull back and restabilize their positions. So Karakova itself, I'll color it in. The city is right here, 75% approximately under Russian control, and it's coming directly out of Kyiv, guys. We're barely holding on to Karakova. Once that happens, unfortunately, it's going to fill this line in right here. And then this allows Russia to push up further here. And there is a little town right there called Shevchenko. Russia is already putting pressure on that very heavily. And I remind you, there is a key. Let me make it blue and bigger. Let's do this. The key supply highway from Pokrovsk comes out just like this, goes right down to Andriivka here, and it comes into the back of Karakova. This road here under intense assault. Now, again, getting the same nickname as the other roads, called the Road of Death. FPVs, artillery, MLRS is just nonstop cover, extremely dangerous. It is the only paved road connecting Pokrovsk down to the Karakova highway. There's no other paved road unless you go way back, and that's irrelevant then. The rest of the roads are dirt. Of course, now snow, rain, ice, they're a disaster. So when and if Karakova does not hold, it will allow Russia to basically set up camp in Karakova. And Karakova has been a fortress city for over 10 years. But that allows Ukraine, unfortunately, will fall under a much heavier pressure coming into Pokrovsk. And as we've talked about so many times, and if you look right here, you see that right there? Shevchenko. That's right where I put the X for you guys. I've been in this Shevchenko 20 times. 20 times in Shevchenko. This is, I'm zoomed way in now, but this is the road coming out of Pokrovsk, the paved highway that goes right down to the Karakova road, right through Shevchenko. And we're getting a heavy push on that right now. I'm telling you, it's not good there. And then, of course, if you're looking at Pokrovsk and Mirnograd, I call them the twin cities here. And one of the reasons I put the title of Big Changes on the front, A, was Karakova, but number 2 is Shevchenko. So we will continue to cover it, but just in your look, this is Shevchenko right there where I'm putting the asterisk. Vitally important. If Shevchenko falls, whoever holds it holds the paved road. And that's it. And then the access coming into southern Pokrovsk is gone. You may ask, okay, Greg, how far is it from Shevchenko into southern Pokrovsk? 3 kilometers. From northern part of Shevchenko into southern Pokrovsk, 3 kilometers. You can see when you're in southern Pokrovsk, you're looking right at Shevchenko. You're just up there and you just look and there's Shevchenko and you ride right down to it. They're on top of each other. You don't even think about how many kilometers it is. You're riding coming out of southern Pokrovsk and you see Shevchenko. You're looking right at it. And that's the way it is. So very dangerous, we'll keep our eye on it. The last place, you're hearing a lot of talk about this tonight, and I can confirm it 100%. 100%. Russia is building forces south of Kherson again. This would be places like BLUESKY, the former Krinky, which is wiped off the planet. You remember how much we talked about Krinky for so many months, and we were supporting the Krinky guys that were living on this side somewhere and going across the river under the cover of night in the little boats and fighting in Krinky. We supported those guys. We lost a lot of our friends there. This is the area we're talking about, Russia building up there once again, very big. And you may say, okay, well, Kherson, they're already assaulting it like crazy. Why? Why would they do that? Let me zoom in and I will explain it to you, and then we're going to spin the wheel. Here's what you have to understand about Kherson, and this is Kherson. And I'm including Antonivka, where the famous Antonivka Bridge is. And right up here, this way, is where the Novokakhovka Bridge and dam that blew was. So why so much pressure here? If there's nonstop assault on Kherson, which it is, this is the place, where Russians are practicing learning how to use drones. They're dropping munitions on civilians. There are very few civilians left. I stand by my number of 5,000 people. When Zhenya and I first started running aid, there was probably 50 to 75,000 people left in Kherson that had come back in after Ukraine had liberated it. That number's gone. It's so dangerous in Kherson. It's the most dangerous. I'm thinking before I say this. It's the most dangerous city for a civilian to be in all of Ukraine. Much more than Kharkiv, much more than Sumy, much more than Kramatorsk, much more than Konstantinivka. Now, we'll not then start talking about more frontline battle places like a Pokrovsk or a Mirnograd or a Toretsk or the 300 that are left in Chasiv Yar or Kupiansk, where there's about 500 or 600 left, but Ukraine completely holding it. Borova, a few hundred left. Of course, those are brutally dangerous. But when you're talking about a large city, Kherson, the most dangerous. Nonstop shelling, nonstop drone activity. What is Russia doing? They're pushing in. They want these islands right here where you're seeing the gold. This is ISW map. There's a lot of channel islands right here because whoever controls those islands, it creates a significant barrier between the right bank and the left bank of the Dnipro River. And these islands, you look down, they look very jungly, very foresty. They're logistically very important. So huge buildup coming here. We'll see what happens. So that's the things I wanted to update you on. If you're seeing that, I'm telling you, it's the truth. That is what's happening. All right, guys, it is time to spin the wheel. I heard the Discord bing. We're finished there. Minnie Casper, member for 2 months. Welcome to crew member. Thank you for that so much. I appreciate all of you guys. And I want to say thank you for being here. Huge live stream tonight. 532 watching now, 467 likes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling others. As a reminder, I leave tomorrow. I'll be traveling. I'll be out west, Nevada and California until Tuesday, speaking out there, and then back. And then it's all in prep mode to head to Ukraine right after Christmas. It will be facts only and our live streams. Guys, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for standing with us. We appreciate it so much. Now, let's give back. Let's give back and let's say thank you. I'm pulling up the name picker, and then I will grab the names. We'll call it closed right now. 192 responses. So here we go. I'm now copying your names. And I don't want to put that on the screen because then your email will be there. All right, here we go. So many of you, good luck to all of you that are in. I'm now going to put your names into the list of names here. Boom. And now I'll share the screen there. All right, so we have all the entries here in the random picker. All of you are there. Good luck to everybody. Going to come down. We're going to have one winner, and we're going to do Wheel of Names. And Zhenya picked Sun-Kissed Nature last. We're going to go with a different color. Let's go black and white today because all I see outside is black and white and mostly white. So there it is, guys. Black and white. Today we've talked about a lot of black and white things, and I hope you've enjoyed. So good luck to all of you. We're spinning the names. You must be present to win. I'm going to go right to the chat and be watching. Mods be watching. If you win, please immediately say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And I will email you. And we'll run a couple of minutes if somebody's not here. Here we go. Wheel is spinning. It spins for 8 seconds and slowing, and it's going to boom. Andrea Schoaf. Holy moly. Congratulations, Andrea Schoaf. You have been supporting our channel since we had 5 viewers. You were one of the original 5. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but from the very beginning. So, Andrea Schoaf, are you here? That's a name everybody's going to recognize. Andrea Schoaf, congratulations. And I know everybody has seen her name. I am here. There she is. Andrea Schoaf, congratulations.
Slava Ukraini!
That is so awesome. I will be emailing you, Andrea, and I will get it right into the mail to you. And yes, I see she's in chat. Once again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to all of our moderators. You guys did a phenomenal job today. Made it so easy for me to pass all of this information. And holy moly, I've almost done a 2-hour live stream. Wow. That's out of my league. Usually I'm doing an hour or hour 15, but hey, so much to cover tonight. And thank you. Congratulations, Andrea. Congratulations to all of you on International Volunteer Day. So from all of Ukraine, from our team there with Zhenya, all the military guys we represent and support, political guys, our friends there, thank you. Thank you for spending 2 hours with me tonight on this live stream. Thank you for donating. Thank you for giving. Thank you for caring. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for supporting. Be blessed. Once again, thanks to the mods. You guys did awesome. We'll see you soon. Look for a Facts Only tomorrow. If you're here and you've been watching, you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider it. We're growing and we're doing the best we can. Join us on Discord, all those other things. Be blessed. We'll talk to you from Nevada and California. Be back in PA Tuesday night. Good night.
Slava Ukraini!